What has the ego of a supergroup with the talent of a high school talent show?
Well, I don't know about that, man. I've been to some high school talent shows back when I was a kid, and I saw an awful lot of talent there. I've been to a trap show. Can't say the same for them. Hey, everybody out there in lockdown land, hope you're having an amazing Friday. And if you're not, hopefully this is going to make it just a little bit better. Before we get started, if you haven't, please hit that fucking subscribe button because it really helps me out and just helps grow the channel. And I've got some really exciting news coming up about that. When I hit the 400,000 subscriber mark, that's going to be coming up in an episode coming out real soon. Anyway, let's skip the crap and get right to the questions.
Can someone tell me what the best amp sim plugin or software is at this time?
Or you might as well just ask for the best guitar amp and the best drums and all that. I mean, like, different strokes for different folks, all that kind of thing. Do you want diversity or do you want an amp sim that does one good thing? You know, what's your budget? All that kind of crap. There's a lot of amazing amp sims out there, and I mean, like, they're just priced all across the spectrum. Helix Native is fantastic, but then again, the Audio Assault stuff is fantastic too. I've got a video coming up on one of those. If it isn't out already, it'll be out in the next week or so. I checked out the Sigma and I was very impressed with it, and it's only $14.99. You know, the Neural DSP stuff is great. I'm hearing some great stuff from STL Tones. As a tone junkie, there is a plethora of amazing amp sims out there, and it's the game has completely changed from what it was 20 years ago. What a great time to be a guitar player. My suggestion would be download some demos for the ones that do have demos available, try them out and find out what works for you the best. Just make sure you're using Lancaster audio impulse responses when you do get them so you'll get the best possible tones.
Clint, is there a real reason to still use Outboard Gear to mix? I think I'm already getting nice results in the box, but I'm romanticizing with thoughts about getting some Outboard Gear. However, I'm thinking it's just a gas thing and ultimately will slow my workflow because Outboard Gear settings will not be saved in the session, so it's hard to work on multiple projects at once.
Is there a difference even to this day? Yes, you bet your simulated ass there is definitely a difference between an analog compressor and a plugin. Definitely. I've been doing some experimentation with using outboard compressors as plugins thanks to the Cranborn unit. And believe me, yes, there really is a difference once you start swapping them in and out of your mix. I'm going to be doing exactly that video, mixing in the box versus mixing out of the box. The great thing is there's a lot of dirt cheap analog gear out there these days. I mean, I got a pair of DBX 160 XTs. They're great on kick drum. They're great on bass guitar, that kind of thing. And they're not hideously expensive. I'm going to be taking a look at one of the Midas compressors. That's like $250. And I'm going to be taking a look at some of the Ultron stuff as well. I'm just talking with the distributor for North America, and hopefully I'll be getting a couple of those units on Fearless Gear Reviews very soon. The thing about recall, if you're really that worried about it, you can do it like we used to do it and take notes and say, okay, what did I have this set at for this particular song? The other thing is you can use your smartphone and take pictures so you don't forget your settings. Ultimately, though, it's a lot of the outboard gear is what gave studios their unique sound because engineers would hook things up for certain instruments and just leave it. Like I said, a DBX 160 XT is amazing on bass guitar, and all you're going to want to do is fuck with the threshold on that. And because there's no attack and release time on it, it uses something called an over easy mode, and it's super simple to work with. All you got to do is set your levels. Pretty simple to recall. Even a distressor is really easy to recall. That's why they have those big, ugly black and white knobs on them way back here, is so you can see what you're set to very easily. Anyway, watch for that video coming up very soon.
Noob question. Why do you favor stepped gain over smooth sweep?
That's a fantastic question. I've got a bunch of different preamps with both. I mean, like my API 512Cs, those are a sweep gain. But my Great River MP to Envy, my Vintech Dual Audio 72, which is for sale, by the way, and my new Cranborn units and the Focusrite Reds are all stepped gain. And why I like stepped gain is so you can do stereo pairs. You can do overheads, you can do room mics, that kind of thing, and get a nice, perfect stereo spread, and you're not going to have to worry about things pulling to one side or the other. The gain is matched, so there's absolutely no question about what you're getting. It just speeds up the workflow.
Hey Glenn, have you ever bought a piece of gear and after some time asked yourself, why in the world did I get this thing?
Not really, but I'm guessing more than a few Mesa Cap clone owners did. Seriously though, I've got a policy in here that if I haven't touched a piece of gear in a year, I put it up for sale because if I'm not using it, it's just taking up space and it has worth, it has a value, and I could put that money towards something else that I might use more often. But in my experience as a Canadian, where, you know, it was a 40 and 50 cent exchange rate, I really did an awful lot of research on any gear I was buying before I'd pull the trigger on it because it was hideously expensive. I remember in the early 2000s, the prices for things in the States, once you brought it over to Canada with exchange and taxes and everything, was a little under double. So a $1,300 piece of gear would be somewhere around 2,500 Canadian. So believe me, it really paid to do your homework. And that's a policy I'd recommend to anybody out there, especially younger guys who are working their asses off for the gear that they want to get, is do your homework, listen to some demos on YouTube, and make up your own mind before you pull that trigger. And deal with cool companies like Sweetwater who have, you know, really great return policies and, you know, aren't going to give you a hard time if you buy something, you don't like it, and you want to return it. That's the way how to do business these days. All right, so this week, this video is sponsored by me. I just want to let you guys know that we have dropped the price on Total Heavy Guitar. We took $100 off the sticker price. It's now going for $97 as opposed to a couple weeks ago where it was $197. This is my comprehensive guitar recording course. If you want to learn how to mic up your amp, how to set it, and how to get the best possible tone you're ever going to get out of your guitar amp, this is definitely the course for you. It's 4 hours long. It's like 18 parts. I condensed 20 years of knowledge down into this lesson. It's totally worth checking out. Follow the link in the description below. Now back to the show.
This video needed to be titled completely different. It should say that time I mixed Jeff Tate Queensryche album and didn't get paid because it was not Queensryche that you worked on. It gives those guys a bad name in a way that you titled your video as well as being used the Mindcrime logo. Queensryche actually had nothing to do with this.
Well, hey there, Global Mind 43. Thank you so much for writing in, if you can call that writing. Try a period once in a while. It just kind of helps the intelligent people figure out what you're trying to say. Now, here's the interesting thing about that record. It said Queensryche on the fucking CD, you idiot! Doesn't matter if it was Jeff Tate's version of Queensryche or the other guys, it was titled Queensryche! Have I made that clear? Can you understand that? Is that computing? Is that getting through? Thank you.
Would you be interested in reviewing the Ultron 500 series stuff? The price is definitely right, but I don't know about the sound.
Funny, I was just talking about the Ultron stuff. I've got all these 500 series slots kicking around here that have opened up over the last week or two. Thank you very much to Cranbourne. And yeah, I am dying to try out the Ultron stuff, especially their 73 style EQs. They're kind of modeled around the Neve 1073s. Chinese copies, as it were. I think it's safe to call them that. They've got a dirt cheap compressor for like $150, and they got an EQ that's also dirt cheap as well. Really, really curious about the Ultron stuff. I mean, like, that's the big thing. It's like, can they duplicate what's being made in the Western world at a cheaper price and not suck? That is the question I want answered. The other thing is they do 500 series power supplies and racks as well, and I might want to check one of those out down the road at some point too, because I think that might be a great way to get into 500 series stuff. I am totally sold on the 500 series, by the way. I think it's just great because it's intermodular. You can change a whole bunch of stuff out and really just trick your system out to how you want. And the great thing is you don't have to break the bank anymore to do it either. Super fucking cool. Watch for that episode. It's going to be coming up on Fearless Gear Reviews real soon. And here comes another question from the SMG Discord. If you guys haven't joined, follow the link in the description below. Get on board. It's a great community. It's a great way to learn stuff. If you're annoying, the mod might tell you to go light yourself on fire or call you a fucking idiot. But other than that, it's a great friendly place to hang out. And yeah, I do hang out quite a bit, and I do try and put some of the questions onto the show. So let's check it out.
If you had to replace the preamp and power tubes for some brand new ones for your amps, which brand would you use for that nice soaking power?
I've had some great luck with the Winged Sea Svetlana tubes. They're not necessarily the cheapest ones, but I've put a few into my dual rectifier and into my 5150, and yeah, I think they sound absolutely spectacular. I've got a whole bunch of Electro Harmonics preamp tubes I'm probably going to try putting into my 5150 at some point as well. Electro Harmonics hooked me up there a little while back, and I'm kind of overdue on that episode. But yeah, killer stuff. If you're looking to do some research on tubes, that sort of thing, I'd check out the tubestore.com. They've got all kinds of wonderful documentation and kind of lay it out into terms that are easy to understand. But You know, now you got me thinking I should probably do a tube shootout episode at some point. What do you guys think? Would that be something you'd be interested in seeing?
Hey Glenn, any advice for those of us wanting to put out an EP or traditional album sometime, but it's taken a couple of years to get finished? During that time, you required better equipment, new monitors, plugins, great sounding guitar, etc. And you want to keep going back to the earlier recorded tracks and use this new equipment every time. When do you stop this cycle of madness?
When you get a grip and realize that you're not fucking helping yourself. Dude, believe me, I get it. Redo. Oh, I got this new piece of gear. I want to redo this part. Yeah, you're just shooting yourself in the foot because you never wind up putting anything out. Oh, I'll make it better. The problem with always making it better is you're not making it better because you're not making a product. You're just fucking around. Stop playing with yourself and put out your fucking record already. Fuck.
Hey Glenn, or staff, or experts. Is it okay to have a guitar speaker in a guitar amp that is higher diameter than 12 inches?
Well, I really hate that term expert, but yes, you can have a 15-inch speaker that is a quote-unquote standard size. I don't know how good it is for metal. I really haven't recorded too many 15s. Usually I find 15 in like a bass guitar cabinet, that sort of thing. But on a guitar cabinet, yeah, sometimes, I don't know. Maybe some old Fenders, I think I've seen some in, but not so much for the modern metal shit. That being said, I remember plugging into a Marshall 4x10 back in college and with my old Gallion Kruger 250ml, and it just sounded absolutely fierce. And never ever found those again, which is a real shame. I don't know what speakers were in it, but damn, those cabs sounded fucking great.
Shadow Hills 500 series, goddammit, Glenn.
Oh man, here we go with the 500 series again. The Shadow Hills stuff is like top of the heap quality. Ugh. I don't know. Does anybody know anybody at Shadow Hills? I'd love to put them on the show. If somebody can put me in touch with them, I think that'd be fucking awesome. I would definitely like to take some of their stuff for a test drive. Oh yeah.
Hey Glenn, new subscriber, love this channel. Here's a question out of left field. With all the digital stuff and plugins, DAW, etc., do you like the current digital world's equipment sound? I'm talking finished mix, say, versus an all analog console recorded with old school outboard gear, EQs, tube mics, a la 1985 style studio, like 2-inch tape reel. So what I'm saying, if you recorded the same band with new digital in the box style or a 1980s all analog path, which final product would you like better yourself? And thanks for the awesome content. Also, fuck you, Glenn.
I don't think it's an either or case. I mean, like, I think hybrid systems very much have a place these days, like, you know, using a digital recorder but mixing on an analog desk, that sort of thing. The mixes can be sonically beautiful in digital these days, like it's not even fucking close. The problem is we abuse digital tools so much that we're not hearing the bands anymore. We're hearing the bands plus the engineers. Analog really forced the best out of musicians, and when they weren't very good, you got the shags. These days, you could take a band like the Shags and then digitally fucking clean everything up, and then you get trapped.
I know it's probably what it sounds like, but what's summing?
Yep, you guessed it. It is exactly what it sounds like. It is how you sum your different channels together. Your drums, your guitars, all that. You'll also hear it called the two bus. This is what takes all your channels and puts it down to 2 stereo tracks. There's a bit of debate in the world of what's better. You know, a lot of people say that analog summing is better. If you take all your digital signals, put them out into the analog realm and combine them that way, then bring them back into the digital realm. I've got the new Cranbourne unit with analog summing on it, and I gotta say, it's pretty interesting. It definitely got me some different results on the same mix. So this is a subject I am planning on investigating in a video coming up in the very near future. So I do think it's something that needs to be checked out. That being said, if you're just running all digital, there's nothing wrong with the way how digital sums a mix. I've been working that way for years on end and have been very happy with the results. So please don't feel like you have to run out and go get an analog summing bus. It's kind of a luxury item, I would say, at this point. It's definitely not going to make or break you. Worry more about where you're placing the mics than analog summing.
I have a question. Why do you need to use external mic preamps for analog mixers? I use a Soundcraft IX732 channel mixer for live applications. Would I benefit from using external mic preamps?
For live, absolutely not, because your audience is going to be too drunk to notice. I mean, high-end preamps are great in the studio because you're making a permanent record of the band's performance. You want to get that signal path to be as stellar as possible, especially if you're doing super high-end shit. For metal, maybe not so much. They're not quite as critical. But if you're doing, as Ulrich Wilde would say, Celine Dion, yeah, you're going to want the best possible stuff. But for live, no, nobody's going to be able to tell the difference or care.
Hey Glenn, is there any point in keeping raw video files after I've edited and released my video? For now, I'm mainly doing cover videos, and those raw files are starting to pile up.
Okay, so this is a little bit off topic. This is more video production, but you audio guys pay attention as well. This is a Seagate portable hard drive. These things are your friend. This is 6 terabytes. I've got a whole bookshelf full of these things. I always back my stuff up. This goes back to one of my earliest projects with a band called 6 Degrees of Separation. And I never backed up my multi-tracks because back then it took a long time to burn discs and all that crap. And I've always regretted it. And ever since then, I've backed up every single project I've ever done. And that includes the video stuff. Fortunately, these things are pretty cheap these days. You get the little 4 terabyte mini ones, or you get the big 6 terabyte like this. They're a couple $100 and they're a great safety net. And I've got about 7 or 8 of these now. And it's just great. Because every now and then, yeah, I want to pull up a project and look back what I did, or I can grab a clip from somewhere and put it into another video. So yes, always archive your work, because if you don't, you will definitely regret it at some point.
Glenn! Who the fuck still record drums these days?
Just engineers who want the challenge and have the talent to pull it off. All right, everybody, that's it for this episode. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for hitting that fucking subscribe button. Once again, we've got a $100 discount going on right now for Total Heavy Guitar. Follow the link in the description below. It goes a long way to helping me out and helps me produce this show and keep you guys entertained out there in lockdown land. So until next time, my friends, please stay home, wash your hands, look out for each other, and don't go to those insane fucking protests, because you're just gonna get yourself sick and everybody else too.